Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Universe Tinkering. I'm John.
I'm Jennifer, and this is our new channel that we created in November of 2020, where we talk, play with, dabble, and most importantly, tinker with all things law of attraction.
We are doing a 31-day challenge. This is a change your energy, change your life challenge. And for this challenge, we're getting up a little bit early in the morning. We're doing a fun activity that will change the energy for the day.
Yes, we are. We're just doing something lighthearted, something easy, something that requires little to no prep, stuff that's already in the house, and really that brings us back to maybe feeling like kids again, making us feel like the world is our oyster. We have limitless possibilities. We're just trying to get that energy of the vibe of maybe being more open to new things and just completely changing up our routine or what's expected. Maybe even feeling a little silly or ridiculous in the morning, such as waking up early to play with Play-Doh or make snowflakes or fun kids stuff oftentimes. And so this is an idea that we had, and it's change your energy, change your life is a statement that is more well known, but what we're doing with it is just making it a little silly because we love silly energy. And we came across this idea after meditating numerous times with Dr. Joe Dispenza. You can find many of his meditations that other people have posted on YouTube, some that he directly has posted, and then of course you can go to his official website, which has all that amazing content there for you, which you can we have a link in the description box below so you can get started and find his content.
They have incredible value.
Oh yes, great value. And when it comes to Dr. Joe, he is a scientist, and so he really has approached learning about the law of attraction and getting our energy and our vibration closer and at least matching what we want to manifest in our lives through learning how our body works and how we can use our body, use our brains, use our emotions to generate that energy. And so when you listen to his morning meditations, he often will say, hey, you need to change your energy to change your life. You got to wake up and do something different. Our body wants to condition ourselves. Our body wants to create routine. Our body wants to predict the predictable future for us. And so our body's working really hard at getting us thinking and doing the same exact thing every day. And for our brains, unfortunately, for a lot of us, it rolls into worrisome thoughts, being overwhelmed by to-do lists, and then rolling into also lackful thinking. Gosh, I never have enough time. I can't do what I really want to do. So that morning time is sensitive. He also mentions a little bit about how the morning time is a place for our subconscious to purge all of its kind of negativity. And so right there in the morning, your subconscious is going it's like getting all the gunk out. It's a great place to know where your work is. If you start to becoming aware of what your morning thoughts are, that will give you a good understanding of what you need to work on. And so through meditating with Dr. Joe, we came at this being completely newbies at meditation. This isn't, I'm 35 years old, you're 38, and we are brand new. So I think we've tried meditation once or twice in our life prior, and now we're meditating in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night, so 3 times a day. And so we just chase that good feeling, and that's really what has led to us meditating 3 times a day. And we started out once, it felt great, we tried it again, kept trying. And so with that, we did notice a really big increase in how we felt overall. And then of course what happened was we had this big light bulb moment where we became more aware of being aware. Conscious, starting that journey of becoming conscious, becoming more aware. We of course had known about the law of attraction, were interested in it, have read a little bit about it, understood and believed in the power of your thoughts, but this is the first time in our life where we felt like we're actually taking it the next step further, and living more in the practice of it. And so with that, for us, we really wanted to try out this challenge that we put upon ourselves for 31 days, wake up early and do a fun activity, a funtivity. Prior to doing this challenge, we would basically wake up right before our baby woke up and right before you needed to start work.
I had to be at work, yeah.
And we'd roll out of bed and pretty much spend the whole day in our pajamas. I think our routine was like to wake up, spend the whole day in our pajamas, at night change into fresh clothes, into new pajamas, and then that would be kind of like the freshness of the next 24 hours. And so we just realized that, not that there's anything wrong with that, not that that we were kind of judging that as a bad thing, but more of it didn't make us feel the way we wanted to feel. It wasn't the right energy. And so we decided that that was something we wanted to change. And what better way than to get up for 31 days, change the routine, change the activity, and then on top of it, layer in a fun, simple thing to help create the vibe. Because waking up is just kind of like, okay, I'm awake. Now what? I should have been in bed.
Yeah, if you don't have something picked out, you're going to
go back
quickly
to bed.
hit the snooze button.
Or you're going to play on your phone, or you're just going to, throw something on, and that's not what it's about. You're in a sensitive time, and you need to treat it as if it's sensitive, and you're open and you're a fresh baby sponge, and you want to soak up the good energy. You got to change that up. And so today is actually day 30. So there's today and there's tomorrow. That's crazy. Wow. Crazy to say, crazy to think. We're really excited. Essentially, in these videos, we love to share our observations, what's happening to our bodies, what's happening to our brains during this challenge. We are your guinea pigs. We, of course, added another layer to this challenge, and that's talking to you.
Yeah, we are two bodies of proof that if we can do this, so can you.
Yeah, if you see anybody do anything that you want to do, hey, guess what? You can do it too. We're just one story, we're one journey, and we just so happen to decide to hit the record button. We're trying to master lighting so we look as glowy, morning glow awake as we can for you. We have an awesome camera that we're talking to you through the lens of, and we're learning all this video editing, uploading to YouTube, trying to figure that out, all just the mechanics and the technical of it, which we don't have that experience. We were not into social media before this. We did not have Instagram accounts, not even Facebook. Pretty much we kept touch with our friends and family through text message and calling them. And that is literally how we've communicated with the world. So in a way, we've also kind of closed ourselves off a bit. And this is a very big and bold way to completely opening up ourselves, completely open. So in these observations, we are sharing our souls, we are being vulnerable, and we're being open with the intention that by sharing our journey, we'll help you along on yours. Yeah. So we do have, of course, 29 other days that you can watch. Check out our activities. If you need some ideas. Yeah, if you need some ideas, we've got 29 of them back there for you, and then one here for you today.
Yeah. My observation that I'm going to share today is about how I'm having so many observations. At the beginning of this challenge, I think we were spending a lot of time in the morning kind of trying to gather our thoughts. What is the thing that
What did we learn yesterday?
What did we learn yesterday? And, it took a bit, and it took a lot to articulate, and it was, it was something we take a good amount of time. And now I feel like both of us are at this point where we're having a lot of observations, we're having a lot of realizations about these kind of inner truths that keep coming out. And I think what's really been helpful is that we have been, we've got a few notebooks around the house and pens, and we're just, when we see it, when we feel it, we're just writing it down. You can see we've got Jennifer's handwriting in here, we've got my handwriting in here. We're having all kinds of ideas about stuff. And so I would just encourage you guys, because thoughts are a little bit more fleeting than we would like to imagine. I mean, we like to think that, oh, we have a great thought and we can continue to think and have it with us. But the nature of a thought is that, you know, it comes and goes. Once you write it down, you kind of freeze frame it in time, and you have that thought to look back at. And it also allows you to feel like you can allow that thought you know, to go wherever it does, and if it leaves you, it's okay. You've got it written down. So, yeah, that's my observation. That when you get to the end of this, you're probably going to feel like there's a whole lot of stuff, and the best thing to do is just write it down. That's going to help you feel relaxed about all these things, and to help you be able to start breaking them down and figure out what's the personal meaning behind it for you.
Totally. It's like pouring out of us.
Yeah.
I think both used to be, another big change, used to be very particular about like what we wrote down, like in a journal, what journal was it, you know, making sure that the thoughts in that journal were like all the same thoughts, like trying to organize our journals, you know, topics, and then you kind of like from school, you know, like your ideas of being back in school, being organized, and like that's math, that's English. And so I think as adults I started to notice that I wouldn't write something down unless I had the right notebook or the right pen. And I'd, you know, then if I wrote it down, did I spell it right? You know, I noticed I had sort of a little anxiety over spelling stuff when I wrote it down, even though I'm just writing it down for me. And so kind of noticing to just get over that and just write it down. There doesn't need to be any rhythm to it, any organization. It doesn't need to make sense. It doesn't need to be spelled right. And in fact, sometimes it doesn't even need to be extremely legible.
Yeah.
You know, the idea is that you get it out. We just have so many like ideas coming to us, observations, concepts, how to see things differently, stuff that we're learning that's coming to us naturally, maybe stuff that coming to us from reading the books that we're buying and reading, from different people that have approached law of attraction from different perspectives and viewpoints. And of course, this is now our perspective and our viewpoint. And so when it comes to a thought, even if it's a big thought, like you might have had a moment where you're like, wow, I just figured out I don't have to be afraid anymore, right? You might have these epiphany moments. You're like, wow, fear is gone, and you'll feel big and proud and free. And then, you know, someone gives you a text message and then you can't maintain it, right? It like drops you off. And so that's going to happen, and that's expected in this learning process. And so what's going to help you along your way is when you have that epiphany in that moment, you've got to write it down, even though it feels grand and you're like, wow, there's no way I can ever feel differently. And that's how it feels in the moment. And that's exactly what we're talking about when we say you're on a high flying disc, you're vibrating at the frequency of what you want. That is exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about you're on the right path. That feeling. It's one example, right?
Yeah.
Of like a good feeling. And so the more you can just be open to bringing a little notebook with you. If you're a technology person and you want to throw it in a note in the phone, that's great. But there is a special old built-in magicalness to pen and paper. And I think we all know that, and we all feel that. And so when you're in this spiritual awakening, connecting to the mystical, what you can't see, and you can't feel yet, it's something beyond us. It's an energy. It's not in the physical. There's something about pen and paper. And so I think the more that you can get to there, the more your words will have power. Your affirmations will follow you and help you and support you. And then your ideas can just grow and manifest into some big, big stuff. So pen and paper.
Highly recommended.
We recommend pen and paper. Find it at your nearest store anywhere. That was kind of my observation too. I definitely had another one. Again, this one might be a little bit of a bigger concept. If you've been watching our last couple of videos, you'll start to see a theme where we're like, we have these big concepts that we could talk to you for hours, but no one wants to watch a YouTube video for 3 hours on one concept. So we're trying to figure out how to piece these apart, how to
break them down into bite-sized pieces,
but then also give us enough time to tinker with them, to really give some insight and some advice that could be
we want to play
helpful
with this stuff too.
Yeah, but another concept that came to me yesterday was this idea of how to make decisions. I think for a lot of us, especially when we become aware of the law of attraction, we get a little bit nervous about making decisions. Listening to intuition, you're like, is that my intuition, or is this just fear? Am I responding to fear, or is the universe trying to guide me? That's like a really big piece of this, is trying to figure out what those feelings are and how they feel differently. I'll just give you one quick example. I had a gallbladder attack a couple years back, and this was obviously way before any awakening. And I had also just given birth to our son via C-section, because I had to. And essentially, I really did not want to get my gallbladder removed. I had just already had a C-section surgery. I didn't want more surgery, and I just didn't want it. And so back then, now looking back, I probably was acting more from my fear than me trying to feel like the universe is telling me to not have surgery, right? But whatever it was, everything worked out. I'm healthy and happy. But in perspective, a lot of my decision making was out of fear. And so with that, learning how to make decisions is something that I'm doing right now and tinkering with. But I think the big impactful thing that came to me yesterday is with a lot of us, when we're making a decision, a big life decision, a small decision, we often go into a similar mode of, does it make sense? Can I afford it? Do I have the experience of it?
Do I have the time?
Do I have time? Am I available? Do I have the resources? Have I thought it through beginning to end? Can I predict it? Do I have all the puzzle pieces to get started? And then the big clincher one, which I saved for last, is how will other people perceive me making this decision? How will I be looked upon? How will I be judged? Not only from the people that we love, individuals, strangers, but also in general society. What has society built around us? And so I kind of was thinking back to decisions in my life, and a lot of that decision-making process was around what just makes sense, or what would deem me successful in the eyes of the masses, or successful in the eyes of my family or friends. And so going through life, making that decision, almost making decision for my life, for other people, for no reason whatsoever, started to realize that there's only one criteria. Isn't that nice? One criteria that you need to make a decision. Just one. All that other stuff actually doesn't matter, so wipe it away. There's only one decision-making criteria, and that's if you want it. Do you want it?
Simple.
It's super simple. And you know that feeling. Do you want it? I want it. There you go, done. Then you can have it. So there's no talking yourself out of it, talking yourself into it, trying to figure everything out. We do all of these thought processes in like a flick of a second, don't we? Like, we're amazing creatures with amazing power, but yet we just guide it wrongly. And so leave the unknown a little bit. leave it open. Know that you have the support of the universe. You don't have to figure it all out. And the only opinion that matters is yours. And if you want it, you do not have to justify it in any way, shape, or form to anybody, not even yourself. And so if you want it, you want it. Decide you want it. Realize you want it. Say, I want it. Do you want it?
I want it.
Want it. So, I don't know even how more times I can say that. But if you want something, there you go. You're done. You have decided. Congratulations. You now know what you want. Simple.
Super simple.
Super simple.
Love it.
Again, I feel like that alone could be a book. Right, decision-making process. That alone could be a whole big thing. But again, right here, we're really trying to give you these things as they're coming to our brains and entering us in the most bite size we can for now. But like I said, today is day 30. We have one more day. We've got obviously one whole book full of ideas and things that we'd love to share.
Yeah.
So more coming.
Very much. Yeah. Well, today's day 30, and we decided that today we're gonna try to write with our opposite hand, and we're gonna be writing with some affirmations with our opposite hand, and just see how that feels. To kind of just change up the energy. I can't think of it was probably third or fourth grade that I last tried to write with my opposite hand. So.
Me too. We activities that make you try harder in focusing are gonna start opening up your brain a little bit.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna break those neural pathways that are familiar.
Exactly, and that's what will help you during this time. And I don't know where exactly we came across this, but this is just a simple activity, costs you nothing, that can just start breaking you from normal habits and just getting you some time to think a little bit more. And when you're doing it, I think it's gonna be a great time to then think about what you're thinking about and learning like what it feels to focus maybe. Mm-hmm. And can you zone out into nothing? What bubbles up, so it's really slow. It's really going to slow down. I'm really interested.
What does your left hand want to say?
Yeah, what is your left hand saying to you? So I can't even remember the last time I tried to write with my left hand, so it's going to be a pretty new experience for me. I'm excited.
Yeah. All right, well, let's do this.
Let's do it. Okay, that was really cool.
That was.
It was really neat. I'll start with my kind of observations. We wrote down an affirmation, and my observation is that my handwriting is like very, very similar to my left hand. It's extremely legible, and it was a lot easier than I thought it would be. It took patience. I had to go really slow. I wasn't fast at it, but I don't know if you can kind of see the difference. Obviously you can see a difference, but it's not drastic. I kind of thought that I would have such like wiggly chicken scratch that like no one would even be able to read it, but like you can read it pretty good.
Yeah.
So this is pretty cool. My affirmation says, I am open to new experiences that allow me to vibrate higher.
That's a great affirmation. I
think
like
so
that
too.
one.
It feels good. I stopped with one because it felt really like there was emotion behind it, and it felt really powerful. So I didn't want to like just keep going and kind of jumble it up.
Yeah.
So I thought to stop at just one.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Mine's slightly under the camera. Let me see if I can get it out. Oop, there we go. So my handwriting, I found out, was still legible, but a bit different.
This one's the right hand.
So this is my normal hand. I wrote it afterwards, and this is going to be my left hand up here. And my observation is that I wound up writing a lot slower, obviously, with my left hand, because I had to think a little bit more about how to make us, the letters correctly. And because I did that, it slowed me down, and I wrote out this thinking that was my affirmation, but in fact, by the time I finished writing it, I realized this was more closely to the affirmation that I wanted. So it was a great way to kind of write and keep track of my train of thought. So and then I just rewrote it just for a comparison, just to see how close it would be. So yeah.
You don't want to read it?
Oh, I can. So my
It's like, can you read this?
I wrote, I am going to bring my income up to my standard of living, to which then I realized my income is up to my standard of living, and I live richly. I was born rich. So those are my affirmations to remind me that I am taken care of.
Yes, you are. Very well, very well. Well, that's gonna wrap us up for today. You know, it's kind of exciting. We have one more day. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. Subscribing is an easy and fun way to stay connected to us and our content, and giving us a big thumbs up will actually help our channel grow. So thank you so much, and happy tinkering. Bye.
Bye.